Well, great. Thank you for joining us. Let's get started. Great law schools have great faculty who are not only leading researchers and deeply committed to their communities, but also fabulous teachers who care about their students and how they learn in the classroom. Each year in the spring semester, we pause then to recognize that the heart of our law school are fabulous teachers and to honor those whose contributions have been judged to be exceptional. We recognize exceptional teaching in two ways. Several years ago, the trustees of Indiana University created the Trustee Teaching Awards to recognize excellent and meritorious teaching that is demanding, effective, and creative. This year, we honor 4 of our faculty with Trustee Teaching Awards. I will also be privileged to present the Leon H. Wallace Teaching Award, which is the highest teaching honor we can bestow upon one of our faculty. And each year we begin by thanking the family of Leon Wallace for making the award possible. Leon Wallace was the dean of the law school in the 1950s and early 1960s, and one of the school's longest serving deans. At the time of his retirement, he had served for more than 28 years as a teacher and 15 years as the dean. You're not supposed to make those, but no. I will return to the Wallace Teaching Award later in the ceremony. I'd also like to recognize a new tradition, our alumni board. Each semester, alumni from around the nation come to Bloomington to spend a few days reconnecting with the school, helping our students, and being tremendous supporters of our different programs. This year, for the 3rd year, the alumni board will be joining us in the award ceremony. If you're a member of the alumni board, perhaps you could just raise your hand and we could recognize you with a round of applause. One of the things that's really nice about this award ceremony is that it's driven and selected by students. A committee of students helped in the nominations of faculty for these awards, and the committee took that charge incredibly serious, and they did it in, again, record time. They reviewed teaching evaluations from our faculty, talked to their fellow students, consulted with colleagues, and they deserve our thanks. So many thanks to our committee. Please join me in thanking Abby Abkrong, JD French, and Heather Jen, who were this year's committee members. How about a round of applause? Abby is the president of the Black Law Students Association, an associate with the Indiana Law Journal, and is actively involved with our Incarcerated Individuals Legal Assistance Project. JD French is the executive editor of the Indiana Law Journal. He was an OCTA finalist in the Moot Court program, and he's a Robel Law Scholar. Heather Jen is this year's president of the Student Bar Association and has deeply been involved with our Protective Order Project, the Women's Law Caucus, and our Wills Assistance Project. With an initiative we began several years ago, our student committee will help me present the awards, and we'll begin with the presentation of the Trustee Teaching Awards. Now turn over the podium to JD French. JD.
Thank you, Dean Parrish. I have the pleasure and honor this afternoon to present the Adjunct Teaching Award to Judge Decoff. Judge Decoff has spent a prolific career serving as a prosecutor and a judge here in Monroe County. She often teaches 2 sections of trial advocacy each semester, and sometimes she teaches both classes alongside her advanced trial practice course. And she does so while serving as presiding judge of the Monroe Circuit Court. She served as a deputy prosecutor for 16 years, and she has been on the bench since 2005. For all her achievements on the bench, though, one stands out and may give you a little insight into who she is as a person. As a colleague has informed me, a criminal defendant in her court was so moved by her that he decided to get a tattoo that reads, "Only Decoff can judge me." Judge Decoff brings her immensely valuable courtroom experience to bear in the classroom, and she offers invaluable advice, tips, and tricks that only a seasoned litigator can offer. As an instructor, though, she is kind, understanding, and empathetic. Students who take trial advocacy know that the vast majority of the course is going to involve some kind of public speaking and advocacy. Even so, though, many students feel jittery, and some bring to them to class a longstanding fear of public speaking. Judge Decoff takes it upon herself, though, to cultivate a classroom environment where students feel comfortable experimenting trying new things, and developing their style as speakers and lawyers. In her classroom, as in the courtroom, mistakes are a fact of life. And she makes clear that we're not to be ashamed of them. In fact, she often applauds students when they try something new, even when it doesn't work. And she uses those moments as a teaching opportunity. To put students at ease, she is never shy about sharing her own mistakes and hijinks in the courtroom. Students value immensely her pedagogical style as well. They say her feedback is straightforward, but never condescending, helpful and constructive, but never discouraging. She colors her examples and lessons with real life anecdotes. She advises students on how jurors and judges think, and she has a way of making even the most litigation-averse law students fall in love with courtroom practice. Judge Decoff is also consistently a favorite among law students here at Maurer, and some consider her classes as the highlight of their law school careers. Students feel that she cares about her students, their ultimate success as lawyers, and their development as young professionals. But she's also fun, engaging, and a captivating oralist, to say the least, uniquely capable of bringing the drama of the courtroom into her classrooms. She is a truly special instructor, and I'm honored to present to her the Adjunct Teaching Award.
I am completely overwhelmed and honored by this award. I thoroughly enjoyed teaching at Maurer, the entire atmosphere, this school itself. I attended this school. I'm very honored to be part of it and to spend the time with the students. And this is amazing. And for once, I'm pretty much speechless. So thank you so much.
Professor Jernigan is a quiet hero. There are few instructors who care so much about their students' success in law school, membership within the legal profession, and themselves as a human being. Professor Jernigan is enthusiastic about many things: torts, wills and trusts, men's fashion, Minnesota, and Richard Posner's prose, just to name a few. There is nothing he is more passionate about than his students. His contributions to the students at this law school are immeasurable. Professor Jernigan is spoken of highly by 1Ls, 2Ls, 3Ls, and graduate students. The mere fact that he is able to connect with such a broad range of students going through different periods of their personal lives and law school careers is a testament to his success as a professor. In class, Professor Jernigan is highly engaging and informative. He carries forth his passion for the law and imparts it on all of his students. He makes clear his expectations from the first day and makes it a point to prepare us for final exams. He is an exceptionally kind and fair professor. He imparts a sense of confidence on law students, which bolsters their performance both inside and outside the classroom. He makes sure that no student gets left behind. During the pandemic, he intentionally formatted his lectures to ensure our success while we were learning remotely. Office hours with Professor Jernigan are an institution, not only for his assistance with the subject matter of his courses, but for the genuine interest he takes in his students' life stories and their career ambitions. You leave his course truly feeling like you have an understanding of the subject and you are one step closer to becoming a lawyer. Professor Jernigan is a legend not only for his impeccable fashion, but for his renowned speech he makes on the last day of torts. This speech truly shows his humility. His passion for teaching and the law are apparent. At least half the class is teary-eyed at any moment, and this is how much Professor Jernigan means to his students. There are moments that graduates of law school everywhere will remember for the rest of their lives. The first day of torts is most likely one of them. I consider myself fortunate to have Professor Jernigan at the front of the podium in room 125 in my core memory. For years to come, I will reflect and be reminded of how Professor Jernigan believed in me when I was doubting myself. His students know that there is always someone in their corner, quietly cheering them on. Professor Jernigan researches in the area of legal theory, focusing on the special intellectual structure of American legal thought. His publications include articles on such topics as law and economics, legal education, takings law, and modern legal thought. Law students all over the nation are especially appreciative of his 2017 publication, A Short and Happy Guide to the Little Book on Perpetuities. On Indiana law faculty since 1988, Professor Jernigan teaches American constitutional law for foreign lawyers, a class required for international graduate students. Professor Jernigan currently teaches torts, Introduction to American Law, wills and trusts, and American constitutional law for foreign lawyers. He also has extensive teaching experience in constitutional law, environmental law, admin law, legal theory, jurisprudence, and law and economics. Now I'd like to read a little excerpt from the speech that Professor Jernigan gives on the last day. You might cry, and that's okay. It's very emotional, but this is just a testament to why he deserves such an award as this. I'm not going to do as good of a job as you, Professor Jernigan, but hang in there. On this last day too, you need to know how important what you do here and after law school is for me and all the other people here. Every teacher, beyond all else, wishes for the same thing: good students. The reason is simple: good students make us look good. Years later, we can point and smile and say, that was one of mine. We never can ask for more. You've been what every teacher wants: good students. Anytime a teacher gets good students, and we do here, it is cause for celebration. You should know that. The bargain of teaching always has struck me as extraordinary. We have good students here who want to learn, they would say. How would you like to help them? What more after this could there possibly be? And yet somehow there is. Our jobs here are not just to teach, as good as that is. We don't get to teach just at any school either. We get to teach at a law school. We get to teach at a place where, if done right, good people get more power to do good things in the world. But most of all, teaching here is so much fun, not just because we get to teach law students, but we get to teach our law students. We get to teach you. We are blessed here with students from all over this country and globe. We are blessed with students with all kinds of extraordinary histories and views and talents. We are blessed with students who want to be here and want to learn. Even more, we are blessed with students who want to do all kinds of good works and wonderful things for others when they leave this elegant building and this gentle town and this vibrant and always budding university. Our jobs surely are as good as anything on this earth. And we get to do this delightful thing day after wonderful day, year after wonderful year, until time or simple foolishness makes us stop. More than anything else, we want you, our students, to know this. We teach not just because you are worth it, but because you are worth it beyond measure. We teach because the light in your eyes is unlike anything else we can ever see or do in life. It is all just so wonderful. It is the stuff of dream and delight. And because of you, teaching has a special and wonderfully human power over all of us. On the very best of days, it makes us feel happy and proud and excited all at once, as if being in this room is the reason we are human. And what happens here is the purpose of Heartbeats. It is all just so wonderful, this job we get to do. It is also wonderful that I can only feel on this day and every day that I am flat out blessed. I am pleased to give Professor Jernigan an Indiana University Trustees Teaching Award.
There are a lot of students here, even though you're on the alumni board. I want to thank you, our students, for giving us the best jobs and days any of us could ever imagine. Everything we do here in this place is delightful, just delightful, because we have all around us what any teacher could ever wish or want or hope for. We have good and careful students. who are kind and decent people. Good things happen here every day because on every day, we have you in the rooms around us. I've been blessed by this job more than I could ever have hoped all those many years ago. Every year and day, it unfolds in even more oh so human and lovely ways. And every year and day, it continues for me to be the stuff of wonder. Thank you.
Though I have not had the privilege of taking a class with Professor Lubin, I've heard from both 1Ls and 2Ls about his effectiveness and care within the classroom. Professor Lubin, as described by one of my peers, is, quote, by far one of the best, one of the most inspiring and dedicated educators that they have had the privilege of encountering throughout their academic career. Professor Lubin, in addition to being incredibly engaging in the classroom, is able to take complex concepts and distill them into more easily understandable key elements. He's also able to then use this foundation of the Black letter law to look at the context surrounding cases, various methods of approaching cases as attorneys, and how the law relates to contemporary social issues. For the 2L class, Professor Lubin was the first law professor that many had because of the accelerated schedule, and he set the bar fairly high for any professors who were to follow. During the 4-week course, Professor Lubin made himself amply available to students, answering student questions both in and out of class promptly and clearly. He also, even in his first year of teaching, went to great lengths to make sure that he provided students with exam preparation materials. He made sure that those materials were available to students as they attended his TA's review sessions, and he also provided feedback on practice questions to students during the course. In fact, just the other day, I overheard a student talking about how Professor Lubin provided detailed feedback on every student's exam so they could learn how to take law school exams more effectively through the rest of their academic career. In addition to his skill in teaching torts, Professor Lubin is also an amazing upper-level instructor. In international law, his passion shines through, and he also keeps students engaged through his inclusion of Eurovision in class. One of my peers described Eurovision as one of the things that they look forward to every single day in class, but they also pointed to the importance that it plays in the class and how everything that you do makes you more approachable outside of the classroom. Finally, students are able to hear, see, and understand the reason for each of his pedagogical choices, which also helps them to best prepare for exams, particularly the bar exam, in a subject that doesn't appear on the bar exam. Professor Lubin uses his position as a Jessup Moot Court competition coach to continue to teach students. Students who have participated in Jessup not only have found great success in the competition, but also talk about remembering the relevant law distinctly and just simply having an amazing experience preparing for the competition, in part because of Professor Lubin's work with and passion for the competition. And while he cares for students inside the classroom as they learn materials, it is also clear that Professor Lubin cares about his students holistically. This past fall, Professor Lubin took time to talk to his tort students about his torts grade in law school, inspiring students to not get discouraged if their grades did not turn out as desired. He then continued to talk about mental health and what it looks like to deal with that in law school. And any person who interacted with one of the 1Ls in that class that day, I'm one of those people who interacted with those 1Ls that day, could have tangibly seen the impact that it had on so many students, in addition to the way that it then blew up on Twitter and likely encouraged law students outside of Maurer too. And so it is my honor to present the Trustees Teaching Award to Professor Lubin.
I had a prepared speech. I'm not going to read it. Nothing in my career, not my research, nor my service matters more than what happens in those moments in the classroom. If I would not be a law professor, I would be a high school teacher. For me, those moments in the classroom are makes my life tick. And the statements that Professor Jernigan said at the end of his thoughts resonate clearly with me. I just want to say thank you so much for what you've brought into my life in the most difficult times. Mind you, I joined Maurer just less than 2 years ago. Last 2 years were difficult, to say the least. I am inspired by my students and their resilience, and that is what brings joy into my life. So thank you so much.
Professor Mcfadden, in just his first year on the faculty full-time, stands out as an amazing clinical professor. As a 1L LRW professor, he's engaging in the classroom, making a fairly mundane and early morning class more enjoyable. Professor Mcfadden is also able to clearly communicate the relevant standards, goals, and concepts for the class, which help students to more effectively satisfy these goals and walk away as better legal writers. Last semester, Professor Mcfadden also provided as much feedback as he could to his students. And students found that his feedback provided them with the tools that they needed to walk away from the semester truly feeling like they were better legal writers. He distributed FAQ-like sheets to students for assignments, walked students through some of the harder Blue Book rules, and responded to questions and concerns quickly and effectively. Additionally, because Professor Mcfadden went out of his way to get to know students well, students felt more comfortable coming to him with questions that they might not have asked other professors. But more personally, I have had the opportunity to learn from Professor Mcfadden within the context of participating in an external moot court competition. And through this, I've seen Professor Mcfadden's knowledge, expertise, and care on display. When my partner and I approached Professor Mcfadden, interested in participating in an external moot court competition, he was clear about what it would look like, how it would work, and made us feel incredibly capable of both succeeding and enjoying the process. Professor Mcfadden also went above and beyond as we engaged in the brief writing process, providing us with resources to improve our understanding and produce great work product in a logical form. He also provided us with some great tips and tricks as we began the brief writing process to make it feel less daunting and to decrease procrastination. Professor Mcfadden, through his personal expertise in appellate advocacy, has been able to relay his habits and routines and the various tactics that have brought him success in the courtroom as we prepare to do the same with our moot court problem. I have also seen Professor Mcfadden's grace and general care for us as humans, and not just students, on display throughout this process. He's been flexible with my partner and I as we have navigated international travel, January session, writer's block, technological problems, and sometimes just poor time management. With each new issue, he has been gracious in helping us to pivot and keep ourselves on track, but has also implicitly led us to want to work harder to be on top of things and do what is necessary for our success. And this seems like something that defines his perspective as an educator, and it opens the door for students to become the best attorneys that they can be. As recent as yesterday, I had the privilege of hearing Professor Mcfadden walk a student through a challenging moment of preparing for moot court and the struggles associated with that. And in that moment, I was able to see his true care, patience, and desire to support and helping students to see their ability to be successful, balanced with encouragement and push to do what is necessary to be successful. And so it is my honor to present the Trustees Teaching Award to Professor Mcfadden.
Professor Lubin tear up, and I was like, that wouldn't happen to me. Oh, gosh. I do have to say in my defense that even though Abby described legal writing, research and writing as mundane, you did suggest that learning some writing tips was helpful. So I just want to point that out. There's some students in the room, and there are some on Zoom. I think my mom is on Zoom too. Hello. And I want to say what it means to me to be nominated and given an award by the students. I mean, this is an incredible group of different and interesting people, and the privilege of getting to know you this year has just been amazing to me. I know you're devoting at a very minimum 3 years of your life to this institution, and I want to do every single thing that I can every single day to make that commitment worthwhile to you. You know, getting to see you and teach you is why I wake up in the morning and I'm excited to come to work, which is a feeling that I have not felt in many, many years. So for that, I want to say thank you.
As I mentioned at the start of the awards ceremony, the Wallace Teaching Award stands for the very highest standards of teaching, and an opportunity to make such an award is not only cause for celebration, it's an important institutional statement on our part, enables us as an institution to recognize and honor fine teaching. This year, the recipient of the Leon H. Wallace Teaching Award is Professor Jody Madeira. I'd like to now read from the student's nomination. There's not more welcoming and comforting professor to a 1L student than Professor Madeira, with her nonstop puns and welcoming presence. First-year students taking her towards class immensely appreciate her genuine interest in ensuring student success and learning outcomes. She's acutely attuned to subject matter on which students are likely to be confused or lost, and she takes time both in class and outside of class to make sure that students understand the material. She brings real-world issues into the classroom and promotes lively discussion, driven by her enthusiasm for the material. She is known among students for her sense of humor and her ability to make the most mundane topics interesting. During COVID block scheduling, students praised her ability to cover voluminous cases on various tort topics in short periods. She's also willing to share her personal experience with students, and she engages with students when they bring her personal experiences of their own. Professor Madeira is also an expert on a wide variety of topics, not the least of which is fertility, fraud, and complex issues in law and medicine. Her expertise makes her seminar in law and medicine interesting and engaging, but she also makes clear that she values students' contributions to the class, and she is eager to hear from students with potentially new or personal viewpoints on the material. The first year of law school can be immensely challenging and a difficult time for some students. The pandemic has carried with it a new set of problems, ones that are often accompanied by stress and uncertainty. Professor Madeira has been invaluable to the Maurer community and its students during this time. She has proven time and again that she cares deeply for the students and their professional development. She is flexible, understanding, and accommodating. She does her very best to mitigate student concerns so they can focus on their learning and development. We would not be the same without her, and we thank her for that. The Leon Wallace Teaching Award is each year awarded to excellent teachers. It's my honor to present this year's award to Professor Jody Madeira. Let me just
A good law professor always has something up her sleeve. And in this case, it's a few words of thanks. I'm honored and humbled to accept this award. Honored because I'm so fortunate to be able to teach such wonderful students who overnight turn into amazing colleagues. And humbled because my fellow faculty members provide me with tremendous inspiration, advice, and support. Thank you all for walking beside me down so many wandering paths, despite my puns, and I look forward to many more such journeys. I'd like to quickly share one of my favorite texts, which is a brief passage from Jason Reynolds' book, For Everyone, that I think embodies the mindset of curiosity and motivated action here at Maurer. You hope the voice that delivers the loudest whispers of what you envision never silences, that it never cowers behind fear and expectations that other people strap to your life, like a backpack full of bricks or books written by experts. Because if it did, if it disappeared, if the voices vanished, and you are no longer overtaken by the taunts of your own potential, no longer blinded by a perfect vision of your purpose, no longer engorged with passion, what would happen? Well, I guess nothing. And to me, there is nothing scarier than nothing. Thank you.
Perhaps you can join me again in congratulating all of our 5 award winners for this year's Teaching Award. If you could also join me again in thanking our extraordinary committee. I think the remarks underscored the thoughtfulness and the dedication that our students put to this task. So thank you so much, and please join me in the round of applause. For those who received awards, and the students, if you could stay for just a little bit, because we need to take some photos. For everybody else, that concludes this year's Teaching Awards ceremony. Thanks for joining us.